Thanks for joining our quarterly Oracle Integration Webcast. I'm Jürgen Kress from the Oracle Product Management team. If you missed any of our previous sessions, you can catch up with on-demand recordings. Just check our quarterly newsletter or subscribe to the Oracle Video Hub channel. Today we are excited to welcome Gabi Ruby, Vice President. Gabi, good morning.
Good morning.
So your team will introduce the Oracle AI Data Platform, which unifies distributed data, AI models, and governance into a single source of foundation. It provides out-of-the-box data engineering, agent development, and analytics. Welcome to the call, Gabi.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here, and it's a great privilege to present to the Oracle Integration Cloud community.
Thank you. What are the typical use cases for AIDP?
A data platform comes to enable teams, data teams and AI teams, to the complete journey of taking their enterprise data, creating data foundations and platform for AI, and then build and deploy AI applications. It brings together various Oracle technologies into a unified experience to guide the user and help and provide them all the tools that they're needed in order to develop and deliver these applications to their enterprise.
Excellent. And we will have a look today into the AIDP. So with us is also Guy Michaeli. Guy, welcome to the call.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
With us is Nathan. Nathan, good morning.
Morning, Jürgen. How are you doing?
As our AI thought leader, we see a huge adoption on new agentic AI integration functionality. Why are customers so excited about it?
Yes, you're absolutely right. We are seeing an enormous amount of momentum in how we have reframed our product to not only help customers integrate and automate their businesses, but also to provide these same exact functionalities for their agentic AI initiatives. And the reason that we're seeing that, we think, is because customers are starting to realize that just simply saying, hey, we need to give our agents trusted context is not enough. We need to ensure that we provide those agents governed access to the systems they need to do their job.
Excellent, thanks. And good afternoon, Neil. You will support us with the Q&A during the webcast, and at the end of the webcast, cool. And we will answer them also live at the end of the webcast. To keep tradition, we would like to ask you, what's your favorite feature in the latest Oracle integration release 2607?
Yeah, the latest and greatest is, of course, 2607. Customers should have been getting the emails now pointing to the what's new blog posts. And in there, you will see cool new feature with our AI assistant. With the 2607 release, OIC developers can now use the assistant to validate whether they are adhering to OIC design best practices. If they are not, the assistant will deliver relevant guidelines to you. And going forward, we will offer the option to directly apply those recommendations. So this is a great value add for OIC developers. Thank you, Jürgen.
Super, thanks. Super, thanks. So SaaS services like ERP, HCM, and CX need to be connected, and Oracle Integration offers certified adapters for pre-built connectivity. With the new AI features, these integrations can be exposed as an AI agent toolset, providing the large language models with your enterprise data to empower agents to make better decisions, provide human oversight, and AI governance. The objective of the call is to introduce the latest product information and resources to implement successful Oracle integration and to utilize the whole iPaaS platform, including the new AI features. Quick housekeeping. Today's session is live and this presentation is recorded. Please feel free to post your questions via the conference Q&A tool in the Zoom console. At the end of the webcast, we will answer them. Slides and the on-demand webcast will be posted at Oracle Video Hub. We will post announcements and links in the conference chat. Please complete the online survey at the end of the webinar. Please pay attention to the safe harbor statement. For today's agenda, after my short introduction, we will introduce the AI data platform, including a live demo, and dive into the new agentic features. We will wrap up with resources to get started and answer your questions live. Oracle just announced record fiscal year results. Thanks and congratulations to all customers, partners, and employees. Nathan, what are the highlights for Oracle integration?
All right. I think for the highlights for Oracle integration is again that we have now made it possible for customers to completely reuse all of the investments that they've been so generously making in our platform over the past decade or so. They can now completely reuse the same exact investments in this new agentic world.
Wonderful. And I would like to say thank you to all customers. The business is growing. Like you see, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure revenue grew up by 77%, and we are part of it. We support you to get started with Agentic AI. Oracle integration is part of the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure free trial offer. You can use the live and on-demand trainings to guide you to build your first agents. And you can reach out to the team and post your questions via Cloud Customer Connect. All information are part of the resource page, and I will post the link in the chat shortly. With that short introduction, I would like to hand over to the AIDP team.
So my name is Guy. I'm from the AIDP team, and I'm a PM there. I lead the AI and agentic work on that side. My goal here is to get you interested in learning more about AIDP. We have webinars, we have hands-on lab, we have content. Please try it out. Please reach out. Please try to learn more about AIDP. I'll do this call for action at the end of the call as well. So let me start with something light. Let's talk about history. And this is kind of the history of like business processes and how we manage them, right? And at the beginning, like a lot of the business processes were done manually. You had an invoice, you had to make sure that you as a person understand how you filed that invoice. You needed to know the regulations about it. You needed to go and get an approval, maybe via email, maybe via maybe like a stamp. It was long. Then, as a progression of that, automation became super powerful. And it was specifically like, I don't need to tell you about automation. You are OAC users. You know how predictable automation and how it is deterministic, and how when you create like rules, they get you what you need in terms of automation. So it's very deterministic. You know exactly what you know. The problem with that is that when you need to update the rule, or when there are new rules, you need to go and update them. Or if there are changes to the policy, you need to go and update them. So there's management of those rules. It can be an issue. It can actually not be an issue. It really depends on the use case. Then comes later, about 2 to 3 years ago, we started seeing a lot of agents replace some of the, like actually replace or augment some of those rules. I wouldn't say I would use an agent for everything. Sometimes a deterministic workflow makes more sense, and sometimes an agent makes more sense. But one thing about agents, that we need to, by the way, like the idea behind agents is that you provide an agent with guidelines, and the agent observes the environment and can take decisions. So it can learn, it can use content, and it makes decision without actually having a rule. So there's good and bad, obviously, because sometimes if your data is, actually, let me jump to the next slide. If you didn't tell your agent about the landmines that it may hit, then it will hit those landmines, and then you end up having to clean up after the agent. And this is where AIDP comes in. Because when you're working with agents, you actually want to make sure that you provide your agent as much data as you can, as you have, that is data that the agent can understand and use, and then it reduces the risk of non-deterministic workflows, right? So that's what you're doing. And here is an example. And then once you're done with that, you actually can gain even more over that. An example here is an agent that uses the existing invoices information to create some anomaly detection data science model, and then you can use that within your agent, and the agent would basically say, "Yeah, this kind of looks fishy to me. I'm going to flag this out," and that's what agents can do for you. I do want to call out a few things. So if this is the AI data platform, like from 30,000 feet, think about like two areas. I want you to take away two areas from here. We have the data and AI foundation, which is built on an open lakehouse. You go into the developer tools, and this is where it becomes interesting because we have custom agents, we have system agents, we have data science, data engineering, analytics. All of this comes together on the platform. We connect the data where it is. Super important. This is where your data is. You don't have to bring your data in, so you don't have to worry about that. Zero ETL. Another one is knowledge bases, vectors, and ontologies. So we were talking about like the importance of your AI to have good knowledge to be successful. This is it. Like our knowledge bases, like you basically have a volume, you can right click and create a knowledge base. Ontologies tell a different story than to the agent. And when the agent is trying to figure out how to traverse through the graph and get information and what tables does he need to look for, ontologies do a great job there. MLOps, you have data. Why not use it to augment the capabilities of your agents and build data science models that are actually also managed via the same catalog that is on AIDP. Okay, now on the agentic layers, we have custom agents, which means you can build an agent. You can build an agent today via low code, which will be the demo that I present you. System agents are agents that are basically like an AI builder or a deep insight agent or a data science agent. And I'm also going to cover how do we expose all of that, because there's always that question of like, so what? AI Registry and Agent Hub will be able to answer that question. The idea behind ontology is that I'm going to take my schema or my catalog, whatever, and I'm basically going to represent it via a graph. That will give my agent the ability to know what is the relationship between the different entities, and the relationships themselves have a meaning. So let me show you. So in this case, I'm selecting custom, I'm selecting like visual builder. Is it going? What's going on? There we go. I'm selecting this. I'll select the schema. I'm selecting the catalog here, the schema, and I'll click on create automatic. So there are other companies that basically send hundreds of people your way and tell you, we'll do the ontology for you. Here we're using ontology builder. So this is the ontology builder, and I think the word is abracadabra. Magic happened, and here is the ontology. So between material and product, you see there's a composed of. Think how powerful this is for an AI agent that they know, oh, material and product, this is like comprised of, and therefore I can actually use that to when someone is asking me a question about how risky is a delivery of this product, because I can actually go back and find whether I have enough materials in my stock. So you as a person, as a business owner, you don't have to type in, do I have enough materials? You don't need to think about it. The agent will do that for you because it understands the relationship between the entities. Next slide is a little bit about how do we build agents. So as I said, like we have pro code, which basically means you can go in and develop using code, and we have low code, which means you drag and drop, and that's the demo. So I'll show that to you. We also have, and coming up soon, system agents, which are agents that are built into the platform and allow you to do things like enhance data. And once the data is enhanced, you can ask natural language questions as one example of a system agent. Another example would be a data science agent, which I covered earlier. Okay, this is a demo of a deep insight agent. In this case, the user is asking which underperforming vendors are contracted on the concentrated on the highest risk project and so on. So you can see that the agent is running the query. It's going for quite a lot of data and provides a very, very thought through answer. Okay, so how did the agent come up with such good answer? And the answer to that is, well, it has enriched data. Enriched data means that before you run this project, the inference, you had to run enrichment. And the enrichment is basically you put in a catalog for the enrichment process. And for each table, you get information such as description, about business context, questions that each table can answer, tags, relationship between the tables, well, columns, description for each column, data types, and example values for each column, and then also the relationships between the different tables. Okay. So, and the creation process is, again, like super automatic. You basically create a name, select a catalog, click on a button, magic happens. You don't need to worry about how to make it work. This is the system, it does it for you. What you've seen so far is how do I build agents, right? So what do you do with the agents? The next thing you do is you actually take the agents and put them in the registry. You don't have to put only agents in the registry. You can bring in your MCP servers, or you can bring even agents that were not created by AADP. You have some agents that you really like and are on GCP, bring them in. We'll register them here, and that means two things. First, in the next slide that I'm going to show you, an AI hub, you will be able to ask questions that an orchestrator will know which agent to invoke. So that's one thing. Second, every agent that you register or every MCP that you register is usable within the workbench, which means the agents that you as a developer create can now call out those additional agents that you registered. You have an agent in Fusion, register it here, and then have the agents that you build use that Fusion agent. So this is the registry. So I had an agent, and now I'm registering an agent. I can decide whether it's a local or external. So I'm selecting local, and then I'm importing it for my workspace. I'll jump to the next one, which is the hub. This is the external representation of hub. And when a user comes in and asks a question, the orchestrator, which is a system agent, it knows how to orchestrate between the different agents and MCP servers that are on it, on the registry, and it would identify the right ones that have the best chance to give you the right answer based on your permissions, by the way. Very important, the permission flow. And it will basically run that and give you the answers that you need. There you go. So like you can see that it invoked the sales agent and a supply chain agent, and you get the data that you need. I'm going to do a quick demo. This is an invoice processing agent that I created. It basically has this information. So it has invoice data, which is in ADW. It has a policy document. Policy is basically the company policy. For example, if an invoice is above $25,000, my boss needs to go and approve it. I can't approve it. So here are the list of people that can approve it. And I'm going to use an MCP tool. I'm going to connect the MCP tool to my agent, and the MCP tool is actually going to hit the OIC project. So that's what you're going to see in this demo. Okay, welcome to AADP. This is AADP. Just very quickly, you have a master catalog. This is where I manage all my data. You can see anything with this icon is an external catalog. That means that the data is not here. There's only reference to other locations. So if we have an account payable and I have a schema called invoices, all these tables are just the metadata. There's no data here. There's also an internal catalog or managed catalog where I keep my policy. So once I'm done with that, I can create multiple workspaces and assign different workspaces to different groups. That's a great way for me to manage basically different development team on AADP. I have workflows. I'm not going to cover them today. Experiments for data science, not going to be covered today. Compute is where I create computes because, as you recall, I'm not only building agents on AIDP, I can also manage those agents here and deploy them and basically have a full life cycle on those agents. So this is where I would create computes for my deployment. And let's go into the agent flow. Agent flows, these are my existing agents. And if I want to create an agent, I'll just click on the plus button and I can select whether I want to do a drag and drop or a code builder. I'm going to select visual, but in this case, I already have something up and running. This is the agent itself. So to get an agent up and running, I would simply take an agent and I would drag it here. And then I can decide on what region it is, what model I want to select. So I can use one of multiple models. I can decide how I want to manage my memory. And this is the OIC tool. Actually, let me open it now and show you how looks like. I would go into OIC, I would go and I would click on this button, and then I would see this link. This is the link to the MCP server. I created the tool, I added the URL, I added the token, and I'm good to go. And once I've done that, I would see all the tools that are available in my project. And not only the tools, I would even see what parameters are required, and I can play around whether I think they're required or not. And I can even test the tool right here if I want to, right? So I'll show you something that like here, if this is the account payable invoices and the select all from invoices where processed equals a parameter, I would go into test and say false and click on submit. And I should get 3 results. Okay, great. So I can do my testing here. Why is this important? Because when you work on an agent, you want to make sure that your tools are working well before you then test your agent, which I'll show you in a second, and then check your endpoint. Deal with the undeterministic nature of the agent by testing it very well before you release it. Let's go into a playground and see how does this work. So I'm asking the agent to go and fetch open invoice. There we go. We got 3 invoices. Note that the agent did beyond, like it identified that there is possible duplication between 42 and 43, and 44 seems to be fine. Let me just, if you recall, now it's going to go step by step and ask me for confirmation, because what I want to do is actually show you how these traces work. So I wanted it to stop after every step. So this is it identified. Step 1, identify the PDF. This is the short name, and it needs to find the PDF of the invoice. Yes, it identified the name. It's going now to so it identified the name, and now it's asking me whether I want to continue and extract invoice data. So this is, as you can see, this is actually a call to the MCP tool. This is in fact calling the OIC project that I created. If I click here, I can see what was sent into OIC and what was the response from OIC. Okay, step 2 complete. The invoice amount is almost 35K. But there is actually a limitation. The limitation is for me to approve something or to process something is 25K. Only my boss in this scenario, Nathan, can approve anything above 25K. You can actually see that it identified that it needs to call to create a policy for approval from Nathan, and I'll just do that. Calling the request approval, and this is basically where a request is being created, and you can see the tool being called. Let me open the tool, and this is the human in the loop request approval tool. Nathan, did you get any approval from me, approval request?
Absolutely did. Yep, I certainly did. Yeah, so here we are within a human in the loop workspace. We will, by the way, of course, be extending how your human beings can actually interact with these. But for right now, we're showing the actual workspace itself, and we can see that indeed we have been assigned a task here, and I can just simply say that this is approved and send it back to you, Guy. I kind of want to set some context as to what's changing with Oracle integration, and some of this you've been seeing kind of unrolling over the past year or so. Of course, most of you have been using Oracle integration for some time now to connect your apps and data, to automate your business processes, and we certainly thank you for that. The reason this topic is so relevant is that the connectivity and the automation that you've already been investing in are exactly what positions you now to be able to leverage those same investments to innovate with AI. Of course, that starts with our extensive library of pre-built connectivity. So it includes connectivity to Oracle integrations, third-party SaaS applications, databases. You know the drill here. Basically, our ability to connect to any application or any data source out there. And in the agentic world, this is a very pragmatic way to give your agents access to the enterprise context that they need. So grounded, governed access to real enterprise data. And where connectivity gives agents the data that they need, automation is what gives them the ability to take action. And our portfolio of automation tools like integration and RPA, rule-based decisions, B2B, human oversight, all of these provide you many options for how to give your agents the effectively this power of action. And this is where this is how you've actually been automating work in your enterprise through the many years that you've been using OIC. It's exactly the same way that we can now give your agents the ability to do the same. And so here's the reframing for Oracle integration that we started communicating last year. Agentic AI is not a departure from automation. It's just the newest pattern that extends how you are already connecting and automating your business today. What's changing is, of course, the range of work that automation can now reach. Automation that once handled only structured, more predictable tasks can now be extended to work that's more variable, work that's ambiguous, and work that depends on shifting context. And the right enterprise question is not whether you should be thinking about manual work or deterministic work or agentic work. In most production scenarios, the answer is going to be a hybrid operating pattern that combines all three of these work patterns. Agentic automation that interprets the context and resolves ambiguity, deterministic automation that executes the business flows in predictable and repeatable manners, and human oversight that provides accountability where the risk is high or where ambiguity remains, or where, quite frankly, there's just simply material business judgment that's needed. So how do you get started, and what are we doing to help? The agentic AI market is moving very, very quickly. Models are changing quickly, frameworks are changing quickly, protocols are changing quickly. And all of these shifts matter, but they are not the architectural decision that we believe enterprises should be optimizing around. The more durable question is what must remain true for agents to safely participate in real business work? And we believe that the answer to that is really four durable principles. First, agents need trusted access. They need to be able to reach enterprise data and knowledge through managed, permission-aware access, not through direct system APIs or embedded implementation details. Second, agents need governed action. An agent should not be handed unrestricted technical operations. So, for instance, unrestricted access to MCP servers, and then asked to figure out, what are the business implications to that access, right? And together, these first two principles really create a governed enterprise reach, if you will. They define what an agent can see and what it can do. But of course, access is not enough. Real enterprise work also needs controlled execution. And that begins with the deterministic execution, as we already stated. This is really a hybrid operating model. Agents can decide when action should be executed, but once an action is initiated, the enterprise needs a predictable execution that can be explained, that can be defended, that can be repeated. And so that includes orchestrating across systems, business rules, exception handling, and so forth. And finally, there's human oversight. Agents can accelerate work, but that does not eliminate the need for human judgment, for approvals, escalations, and so on and so forth. So the important point here is that these are not tied to a particular model or to a framework or a protocol. These are choices that you can make, an architecture that grounds your agentic initiatives in durable principles that make your agentic AI safe, manageable, and ready for real business work. And so this is where Oracle integration comes in, right? Each of these durable principles maps to a capability that you already have. Trusted action comes from connectivity and automation. Governed action from the new OIC MCP servers and the newer MCP gateway that you'll see soon. Deterministic execution from our integration and orchestration capabilities, and human oversight from our repurposing of process automation with human in the loop, MCP tasks, MCP apps, all things that you'll see coming here very soon. The point is, you're not investing in a new stack to do agentic AI work safely. You are extending the one that you already run. And our purpose is to complement all of your agent initiatives, regardless of where they be built, right? So certainly, we're focusing today on AI data platform, and of course, the AI data platform team provides a very rich and robust agentic platform. That is just one of the areas where we are helping to complement your agentic needs. Now, of course, the question I often get is why not just let the agent call APIs or point it to a few MCP servers? And it sounds like a very easy and obvious thing to do, but every time that you give agents direct access to either APIs or more recently, direct access to MCP servers, what you're doing is you're quietly pushing a governance into the agents themselves where you cannot control it, or you're going to have a very hard time controlling it as agents kind of start to span your entire business. So the credentials, the orchestration, the oversight, all of that is now being relinquished to the agents themselves. We believe that our job is to insert a governance layer so that control lives in your infrastructure, not in the individual agents themselves. And so here's how we are broadening this governance conversation that we've been having over the past year. Providing you governed enterprise access, so turning your systems into trusted, reusable, deterministic tools. This is the OIC MCP server layer that we've spoken of before, but now as part of a broader set of critical and interlocking governance capabilities. MCP Gateway, which is a new capability we'll be rolling out very soon, that governs your whole fleet of MCP server access. Human in a Loop, which again is a repurposing of our process automation capabilities, bringing oversight into the flow, and agent orchestration, which coordinates hybrid flows of systems, agents, and people. And this is where we're working with our Oracle agent peers like the AIDP team, as well as different industry standards to make it easy for you to discover and invoke agents directly from within your integration flows. Again, creating this hybrid operating pattern of deterministic and non-deterministic operations. And so with that, let me quickly jump over and take a look at the Oracle integration, how we're doing this. I do want to kind of jump out here to the home page. Oftentimes we have a call to action. I'm sure Jürgen will have one as well. In the next release, you should start to see a discover what's new. So nothing to do with agents, but I wanted to point that out because you should be looking at this and finding things that are going to be interesting to you, such as join our Accelerate program. So this is how you can sign up for our new Agentic AI Accelerate program. We'll have other articles here about how to better understand your billing and so on and so forth. Again, we would very much encourage you to be using projects, and so all of our new and recent innovations are within projects. Projects are a way for us to unify the lifecycle management, the observability of all of our connectivity and all of our automation tools. So we have our integrations, we have our agents, our robots, our human in the loop, rule-based decisions, and so on and so forth. So in the case that the guy had shown there, we had this use case where he needed to automate processing of invoice documents. These documents could come in from a shared service center. They were scanned, stored in a file, maybe stored in the data lake where the agent can kind of assess which of these are duplicates and which needs to be actually processed. Once we decide to process those, of course, like any software system, we would decompose this problem into building blocks, right? And these building blocks we're implementing here as integrations. So I have a number of different integrations, an integration to classify those documents. Is it truly an invoice or is it a receipt or something else? An integration that connects to ERP Cloud, maybe to create the payables invoice within the financial system, integrations to extract the invoice data, list of documents, and so on and so forth. Before we kind of go further, a quick look at one of these integrations. So of course we are, you guys will all know about integrations. We are continuing to extend our integration palette to include native activities for all of the OCI AI services. This makes it very easy for you to infuse intelligence into your integrations. In this case here, we're using the document understanding AI service to classify documents. We could use the same to do the extraction. And you also start to see some first-class AI actions. And this is where we're connecting to the various registries like the AIDP agent registry for you to very easily discover agents and then be able to incorporate those agents into your integration flows themselves. So agents calling integrations and integrations calling agent, truly a very rich hybrid pattern. So let's go ahead and activate this integration. So now we have the building blocks for to be able to automate this. Of course, agents know nothing about integrations. What agents know about are tools. And we have now surfaced a first-class concept of tools. Ignore these other agent patterns and agents and prompt templates. This is where you can actually build agents in OIC directly, but we'll focus on this notion of tools. To create a tool, I simply come in here and I say, I want to create a new tool. I'm going to create this tool based off of an integration. We'll pick this classified document integration. We've copied the description from the integration itself, and we now have a tool. A tool is nothing more than metadata that we're going to send to the large language model for it to reason over. What does this tool do? Is this something that I'd be interested in invoking? And if it is, how do I actually invoke it? In this case here, we're telling the agent to invoke this. You would just pass the file name. That's probably sufficient, but we can also amend this by just saying, giving it some additional instructions, say, this is the actual document file name that you're processing. So we now have a tool that we can pass to the agent. Of course, agents don't know anything about Oracle integration and Oracle integration tools. What they do know about is this protocol called MCP server. And so this is the MCP server that you saw Guy connecting to. And we would simply, to actually expose all of this as an MCP server, you just simply come into your project and you say, enable MCP server. And we have now stood up a secured MCP server that will expose all of these tools for your agents, as you had seen in Guy's demo. A couple of these tools, by the way, are going to interact with things like our human in a loop. And so if we come over to human in a loop, you'll see, again, this is kind of the next iteration of process automation, where we are moving some of the process automation capabilities directly into projects and tailoring them to these more agentic human oversight use cases. And so you'll see here we have a simple approval flow that you saw a task assigned to. So this is very simple, but of course, your human engagement may be very complex, and you, of course, can model out whatever level of complexity that you want. You'll also notice, those that are using process frequently, you'll notice that we've actually isolated, or we have externalized the actual process form itself. So this is now reusable, and we will continue to expand how you can actually engage with your human tasks with technologies like MCP Task, MCP Apps. You'll see a lot of that coming out here in the next release closer to AI World. And of course, all of our automation capabilities are available. So for instance, we can use our rule-based decisions where we need to have very discrete rule-based decisions, like who is going to get assigned these tasks based off of maybe the invoice amount. In this case here, I have myself assigned to all of them, but you can imagine very complex rules that you can define that will actually provide that capability. One last thing I want to show you is our new MCP gateway. So again, exposing integrations and automation tools to your agents to be able to connect to the enterprise data, to be able to take action within the enterprise, certainly is a first start. We also recognize that many vendors are releasing their functionality as MCP servers as well. And just like it's not probably a great practice to expose your agents directly to all of these REST APIs. Instead, you should go through an MCP server. One step up in that stack is this MCP server layer. It's probably also not a best practice to simply expose your agents to all the MCP servers. You completely lose control over authentication, over access, over auditability across the agents. And so what we are doing is we are providing what we call MCP server. You can see here, because this project has been turned into an MCP server, we automatically provide an MCP server configuration here. But you can come along and configure any of your, provide connection to any of your MCP servers that you want your agent development teams accessing. And then what you can do is you can come along and you can create a gateway. So we'll call this my gateway. And you can choose which of those MCP servers you want your agent teams to be able to access. And so in this case here, I say, okay, I want them to be able to access to my local server. But that's fine. The real value here is the fact that we can start applying policies to those MCP servers. So as an example, I can create a policy here for a tool filter, and I can say, I only want read-only access to the read-only tools for my agent. And from this, I can choose my local MCP server, and I can come along and I can just pick the approval routing, and maybe that requires approval. But what I don't want to pick is I don't want to pick the create invoice. I don't really want my agent actually creating invoices for me. Instead, what I'd like to do is maybe do that through some other mechanism or whatever the case may be. And so now that we have this security policy here, I can come back into my gateway and I can simply say, let's apply this policy. So we will continue to roll out lots of different policies around PII detection, both inbound and outbound, policies around tool poisoning. So to ensure that any MCP server data that's coming back is not poisoning your agents with malicious commands. We'll provide business policy. So for instance, we may want to allow agents to create invoices, but maybe we only want them to create invoices up to a certain limit. And so you'll be able to apply policies on that, apply those to your gateway. And now instead of your agents having unrestricted access to the MCP server, they have the exact governed access that you want. And of course, you have with that unified observability across all your agentic systems. Which tools are they calling? Who's calling what's actually going on within my business? And so with that, Jürgen, I think we're all done. I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you for the wonderful demo. Give it a thumbs up. So how can we help you? How can we support you? There's a really excellent feedback from the early adopters, like the Box Fusion guys, CX experts in the UK. They use it to build agents for a custom portal. Accenture transforms Oracle SaaS solutions with custom agents. Knex, a partner in the US, connects and innovates PeopleSoft HR workflow. InnoApps offers a workshop to find the right use case for AI. InfoBip enables agents to communicate with social media, for example, WhatsApp via an adapter in OIC. And Fishbowl, experts for conversational AI, offer a Web Center adapter to give agents access to content management. Where to get started, where to learn from successful customer projects. We published 2 papers. One is a pattern paper by industry and the other one by department. They are also available in the resource kit. And how to get started, Oracle integration is part of the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure free trial program. So you can build, test, and deploy your first agent in Oracle integration and connect your applications with large language models. The free trial is valid for up to 30 days. Most important, you make use of the documentation, which is available for all technologies, integration, but also for AI or RPA. And the documentation now includes also some hands-on trainings as part of the live labs. They get started with Oracle integration and Oracle integration 3 with Agentic AI. So please use those trainings to build your first agent. We also offer hands-on trainings. We are rolling them out. One is happening tonight, so you can sign up via our resource page. Also for the future events, we offer them in 2 different time zones, North and South America and APAC and EMEA. More schedules are coming out, so please make sure you read to the newsletter. If you would like to help and get support with your projects with experts who have done it successful before, 8 of the 10 top 10 projects are implemented by our system integrators. You can find them at Partner Finder, and at Cloud Marketplace, you can find pre-built integration recipes, and you can also find third-party adapters like the Fishbowl or the InfoBip adapter. If you have questions, if you need support, collaborate at Cloud Customer Connect. In discussion forums, you can share your knowledge, engage with the team, and also submit your questions. Like Nathan already mentioned, we have an early adapter program. So if you would like to build an agent and are willing to support also our marketing activities as a reference customer, please sign up for the early adapter program. All information is published in the newsletter. So we have a newsletter for customers, which is submitted by a quarterly base, and the more technical newsletter for the partner community on a monthly base. Today's webcast is recorded and will be published, including slides, at Oracle Video Hub, so please subscribe for the latest updates. So to summarize it, visit our website and use the free trial to build your proof of concept. In the documentation, you can find training material, and the live labs and the hands-on bootcamps help you to get knowledge. All information is published in the newsletter. If you have questions, please post them in the Cloud Customer Connect forum. And the Accelerate program is here to promote your success. We have plenty of blogs, so visit the Oracle integration blog. All links are at the resource page available. With that, we have plenty of questions. Gabi, the first question is for you. Is AIDP already available?
Yes, AIDP is available, and while some of the capabilities that Guy demonstrated are in limited availability, and he mentioned that in his talk track, as a whole, AIDP is available in all OCI commercial regions and some government regions. And most of the things which are limited availability are going to show up in the product in the next several weeks.
And can you give us some details about the pricing?
So ADP is priced based on consumption of resources. So as an example, when you deploy on the data side, if you deploy some kind of a workflow and you need a Spark cluster to run it on, you will pay for the Spark cluster that you provision to run your workflow on. In a similar way for agents, when you build, test, deploy your agents, you deploy them to an AI compute, which is an infrastructure compute, basically. And you will pay for the compute that you deploy on and the consumption of those resources. So everything is consumption based, and everything is based on what you actually are using and consuming.
Okay. Nathan, next question is for you. Is Oracle integration turning into an agent tool, or can you also connect to several different agents besides AIDP?
Yeah. So look, you can absolutely build agents directly within OIC. We believe that our primary value, however, is complementing the very vast agent ecosystem that's already out there. Many different options within Oracle itself, many more outside and third parties. We believe that our core value is again to leverage our connectivity, our automation tools, and expose those in a governed fashion for your agents to have safe access to your enterprise. So yes, you can build agents in OIC. Our focus, however, is providing this execution and control governance layer.
And are agents replacing the existing workflows in BPM technology?
I wouldn't say they're replacing. However, as with anything in any business process, again, it's you can, if your business process is sufficiently deterministic, in other words, you know exactly what the rules are, exactly what the context is, certainly you would want to continue to build those in integration flows or process flows or human in the loop flows themselves. The advantage of agents is going to be where you have a business process, where the context may not be known up front, where there's ambiguity, where there's going to be flexibility in what the next steps are. We believe that a lot of BPM style business processes today could actually benefit from an agentic layer on top of that, and then leveraging integration and the human engagement where needed.
Okay, so thank you very much for answering all the questions to the whole team and to all the presenters. If you have further questions, please feel free to reach out to the product management team. And thank you guys for answering all the questions. Neil in EMEA, Paolo in South America, Ravi Chaplani in North America, Ravi Pinto in India, and Steve Tindley in SA. Thanks for attending today's webcast. Once you leave, please complete the online survey. And we are looking forward to welcome you for the partner community webcast on June 30th. Thank you very much for attending, and I hope you like the new AI features. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Gabi.
Thanks, Jürgen.